This is a beautiful diorama. It's The Walking Dead. I love The Walking Dead. Loved season 2. Thought season 3 was a bit weak, but I thought the writing in season 4 was phenomenal. I actually looked it up afterwards and found out that the showrunner had changed, so the writing had changed, and I felt like there was much more character development and depth to it, which it really needed. And then season 5 is just, you know, the critics are going nuts about it, especially with the events of season 5. But this statue is based on the comic book, which I'm reading at the moment. This is Compendium 1. It's heavy in terms of its weight and also in terms of its content. Kind of excited about that. It's interesting to see the comparison between the flow and the characters of the comic book and the TV, of which I both admire very much. Now, this is the statue itself. It's a diorama. It spins around. It's Rick Grimes. Sorry, I just glossed over that. There's not many statues do this, but basically it has a spinning base. So it has a title card at the front and it has a spinning base. There are 1,500 of them, that's the edition size. And then there were 50 made of, called the Signature Series, which was just black and white, reminiscent of the comic book. So if you were really into that, you could get that version. I preferred the colour version. This was the one I saw at Comic-Con, and the colour I saw at Comic-Con. That's my only gripe with the final factory product, is that there's a much more colour pop here on the box and in artwork I'd seen previously than in the statue itself. Now, that's not a huge issue, and the reason is that it is based on a comic book which is black and white, so it's kind of like, you know, it still kind of looks like a comic book, so it's not the biggest deal in the world, but you do see a huge difference when you see like the colour of the blue of his jeans there and the colour of his jeans here, which do not look blue. But as a sculpt itself, it's pretty stunning. Now, it was designed and it was sculpted by Todd McFarlane himself, and I guess he worked with Robert Kirkman. In fact, it says that on the back here. This box is interesting. It has the picture on the front, it has some of the comic book on the side, just to give you a sense that it's from the comic book, and then it has some writing on the back, and it says, "The Walking Dead has expanded from an independent comic book into a global Eisner Award-winning, multimedia groundbreaking franchise." I guess the video games are pretty cool too, actually. The Walking Dead from creative writer Robert Kirkman continues to garner critical acclaim, harbouring fans as rabid as the zombies that inhabit this fictional juggernaut. McFarlane Toys is proud to join forces with Skybound, Kirkman's imprint at Image Comics, to bring you this limited edition, highly detailed, handcrafted, cold cast resin statue based on the comic series' main protagonist, Rick Grimes. It goes on and on. It says the Rick Grimes statue was created, developed and designed by McFarlane Toys founder and legendary artist Todd McFarlane and his award-winning McFarlane Toys design group, in conjunction with Robert Kirkman and Skybound Entertainment. And on the back, there's another picture of the statue, and here it has the number. So this one, my one is 1,114 out of 1,500, and then the Signature Series, the black and white one, there's 50. So there's approximately 5, well, that's how many statues there are out there at the moment. It's a diorama. It's a good size, as you can see. It contains 4 characters. It's pretty ambitious. I'll spin it around, so I kind of like it when you get a view which is like kind of dead on, like sideways, of like Rick blowing this zombie's brains out, kicking it and blowing its brains out, kicking it off and blowing its brains out, holding one for the time being so it can't bite him, and the other one clearly has just been axed in the head. There's a lot more axes in the comic book than in the actual TV for some reason. Like, that seems to be like more of the weapon of choice in the comic book. And then there's more zombie bodies on the floor, faces. It's pretty grim, but it's also pretty fucking awesome. And I really like it. I'm glad I have it. I'm glad I own it as a statue. It's not hugely tall. I guess it's probably, I'm 12 inches, maybe something like that. It's certainly not quarter scale. If these characters were quarter scale, it'd be out here somewhere. But it's a good size. I'll give you a spin so you can see it, get a better sense of it. There's blood and entrails and skin burnt, it looks like, or decaying on some sort of fence or something. And Rick himself has good detail. The eyes are pretty good, the teeth is pretty good, the beard is good, working on that myself. Actually his beard is going to be gone after the move, it's just one of those things. In the comic book he actually loses his arm or his hand, so that's what you see here. Let me just spin it around some more. That's what you see here in the statue. He has the gun, his famous gun that I can't fucking remember the name of for the life of me. I'm a little bit tired, and so yeah, like all round, pretty decent statue. The only thing that bothers me is when you display it. I have lights like on my cabinet at the front, and Rick is way at the back here, so when I display it, this tends to light up and Rick doesn't. So it's sort of like you need more light. So if you're going to get it, try and get that set up where you have like a light here, so you get a real sense of what's going on here. There's no extras or special pieces or anything like that. But it is, in my opinion, a very good statue. I'll show you a couple of close-ups real quick. See if we can't get in here. Just get in close. So there we go. One of 1500, and this guy here has got an axe in his head. This rotting flesh. It's very dark, everything's very dark, like I said, but that's okay. Rick's hair is almost goddamn perfect. It's kind of funny. You can see the blood splattered there on his arm, which is kind of cool. And then the blast into the face. Let me get around this way so you can see it. Pretty gruesome stuff, pretty awesome stuff. Blast out the back there. His foot firmly on that zombie. You know, taking care of business, as it were. So yeah, that's the Walking Dead Rick Grimes diorama. There's a Michonne one too. I prefer this one, and I hope that was helpful.